come to you. River State PDP Stakeholders Forum have a live transmission to bring to you, but mostly for our DSTV platform. In the meantime, we have with us
Miracle Ihoma. Our dear brother Miracle is here.
Clinical.
Still performing miracles.
Okay, well.
And he'll be talking today about...
No, that's I want to introduce that topic very, very well.
Oh, sorry.
Good. See, there's a common balance now. By the way, Miracle Ihoma, thank you, good morning, and welcome to the program. There's this thing that they say now. It says you maintain Steeze and maximum composure.
You maintain what?
Steeze. Stability and ease together.
Steeze. Oh, God.
You know?
Z-E.
Yeah.
Is this stability or stamina? I don't know. Anyway, so is that, we talk about the physical one, the one we can see mostly. But this one, the mental composure, can be quite an issue, right? Help us understand it.
Yeah.
No, the reason I said that is because, everyone is talking about, making money, things are getting more expensive, jobs this, rent here, school fees and all. But then no one, and we're all trying to look cool and calm and collected. But then there could be a lot going on in the mind that the person is not even deliberately not giving attention to.
Yeah. The topic reminds me of something I think Mike Hall said. He said, hard times make strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Oh, full circle.
Yes.
Okay.
So hard times create strong men create good times creates weak men, and weak men create hard times.
And then we now start all over again.
Start all over again.
It sounds like comfort is a problem.
Yes. So really, and that is one way to maintain this Steeze and maximum composure mentally, is to be able to see the rose in the thorn. It's about perspective. Yes, the times are hard. People are going through a lot. We cannot deny it. That will be living a fool's paradise. But we can focus on what we can control. And another quote comes to mind again, which says, it's a prayer by, I've forgotten the person who made that prayer. He said, God, give us a serenity to know the things we can change, the courage to change the things
we cannot change.
Give us the serenity to know the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because that's how and what will always happen in life. We would always be faced with things that we can either change or not change. For the ones we cannot change, what we need to change is our perspective of those things. Then for the ones we can change, we can go ahead and change them. A lot of what is happening right now at the policy levels are things that we cannot change. Yeah. Yes, and that's why I tell people that I don't even engage a lot on the issues of Nigeria, except of course I'm in a station like Channels where I know my voice can be heard in the relevant places. But if it's just to be discussing with my friend how challenging Nigeria is, what will he do for me and for Nigeria in itself? It will just increase my blood pressure, and then fuel will still be the same amount. So nothing will change.
This thing that you just said about prayer, two issues that I'm going to raise with you right quick.
Yeah.
I think it was on Sunday, Dr. Samadiyemi was making, after the Saturday conversation we had with him, Dr. Samadiyemi was making a speech somewhere, and he said, we need to know the difference between what the responsibilities of humanity and the responsibilities of divinity. Mm-hmm. That there is a place where the only thing that divinity will do is what humanity cannot do. Mm-hmm. So, and that seems to be what you have just talked about now. Now, I also saw another video in the course of the week. Some people said that engaging in religious activities 12 minutes a day for 8 weeks can change your can so change your life significantly that they will read it on a brain scan. Is that correct?
Well, I haven't seen that research, but I have always known that faith has an impact with how we see the world and also how we relate with the world. So which ultimately has a significance to our mental health. I've always known that because it has been proven by research as well that people of faith tend to deal better with challenging situations than people that are not of faith. And there are logical reasons for it, apart from the spiritual or divine reasons. For instance, if I have faith, if I believe in someone who has a superpower, I believe in a God somewhere who watches over me, I would have some sort of comfort in that over somebody who believes that he's all by himself and whatever happens is by its own doing. Because I believe that there's a supreme being somewhere who is looking after me and is going to take care of me, then I can believe that this is going to maybe turn out together for my good at the end of the day, or things are going to get better. Yes, over somebody who does not believe that. So yes, faith does have an impact, a direct correlation with how we are able to deal with adverse situations.
So faith has an impact on your mental stability.
Health, yes.
Or maximum composure, as you call it.
On our Steeze.
No, but okay.
When you're talking about faith, what exactly are you talking about? Because right now I'm thinking about the atheist. He doesn't believe that there's any supreme being anywhere.
Yeah.
I once met a man who told me that he believed in the sun. That if the sun didn't rise, almost everything on earth would die. So that kind of person, how would you relate this to him?
Or is that also faith?
Yeah, so the question is, does he believe that the sun is his God? Does he believe that the sun...
Not that the sun is his God.
Okay.
He just believes that all life depends on the sun.
Yeah. So, in a sense, it is faith, because faith is belief. He believes in something. But then, when we talk about faith here in this context, we're talking about faith in a supreme being, right? In God. And of course, there are different expressions of that. Yes. So when we're talking about faith in this context, we're talking about faith in the supreme being, and that is really what has an impact. Because if he believes in the sun, does he believe that the sun will determine what happens to him tomorrow?
No.
Does he believe that the sun would actually make his life better or worse? So if he doesn't believe in that, then in that sense, he doesn't believe that the sun is his God.
So he doesn't have faith in anything.
Yes.
So how do you now relate this, what you have just said, to a person like this?
So for that person, he believes that his life would turn out according to his investments, according to what he does or doesn't do. So for that person, it is easier, for instance, to maybe give up on situations where he doesn't have control, because he doesn't believe that there is anything extraordinary that would help him in such situations. But for the person of faith, he believes that, okay, God is going to come through for me. All things are going to work out together for my good, right? And that, in its sense, gives him some sort of comfort.
Yes,
that he can rely on.
Or maybe this fellow believes that for as long as the sun rises in the morning, everything is going to be okay. Okay. All right. But to the real issues, because this faith thing, as Dr. Samadiyemi also said, no angel is going to come and build our bridges. So that one, we should take it to the bank. But it is so easy for people to believe, to maintain this composure we're talking about, until something happens. How do people prepare for a situation that they cannot control? Because it will come. For instance, this is what now? October 5, 2024. October 5, 2023. We didn't anticipate this level of hardship, as to put it that way. No one anticipated.
Well, we saw it coming. We had seen it coming.
Well, you could only have had an inkling. Would you ever have guessed that $1 will rise up to 1,500 naira to the dollar? So And then there's also someone who was talking yesterday on a program we had. Look, as at X number of years ago, even months ago, the naira had a particular value in dollars, but now it's way less. Those who didn't see that coming, how does believing help?
Yeah, because the truth is that many things will happen to you in life that you will never see coming. It is, this is something generic, but there are also personal things that would happen to every one of us that we will never see coming. And that's why we must live with that consciousness to start with, to say that there are things that are going to happen that I will not be prepared for. But I can be prepared to go through whatever that challenge is, in the sense that having that consciousness in itself helps me to be prepared for whatever happens.
What are the consequences of not being mentally prepared?
It's going to take you unawares, and it's going to affect you. It's going to have an adverse effect on your mental health.
What kind of conditions are we looking at?
People could go into depression, anxiety, suicidal behavior, and even other mental health conditions, because most times when we talk about mental health conditions, especially for people who have predispositions to them, who it's just like someone has a predisposition to cancer. Sometimes they will need a trigger for that predisposition to become a reality. It's the same thing with mental health conditions. So if somebody has a predisposition to, say, borderline disorder, they would need some sort of a trigger for that to come to limelight. And this could be it. It could just be that, okay, something just get really difficult for them. Maybe they are sacked at work, or they can no longer pay their children's school fees, or anything of that sort. And then that triggers that condition that was lying dormant before. So yes, so this could actually have those kind of effects on people.
Now, the next question that comes to my mind about this, Mr. Homa, is, so these conditions are possible, and no one prepares for them. In fact, you may not even know that you have anything dormant, right there inside of you. But the reality cannot be escaped. You will find out that the cost of transportation has increased. Fuel price has increased, even though some people say it's gradually coming down in cobbles and trickles. Food price has increased. So those things, and then you expecting money. The person you are expecting money from is expecting money from someone else. You're hearing all kinds of things. So how do people I don't know how to put it. You understand? Because you have spoken to clients before, who have this kind of challenge that they have no idea what to do. They're just in a state of
Disma.
What do you call it?
Disma pisma.
Whatever that is. That's role. You want to write it? So how do you give us an example of what such conditions a person could be, and what do you tell that kind of person?
Yes. So,
by the way, do you call them what did you use? You have spoken to a customer. Do you call them
clients.
Customers or patients?
Clients.
Oh, clients. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Not patients. Okay. All right.
Yes. So the like you said, every one of us we are all going through this, but one of the things that would differentiate one person from another is how much adversity quotient you've been able to build. Because there's something called adversity quotient. So we have emotional quotient, intelligence quotient, we have adversity quotient, which is your ability to be able to survive and thrive in adversity.
Wow.
Yes. So that would be determined by how much of that you have built over time. And that's something that, everyone, because resilience is a skill. It doesn't come with your genes. It's something that you learn or you get to build over time, right? And if you have been able to build that over time, it will be easier to go through difficult times than somebody who has not done that. And some of the things that can help you to build resilience would, in fact, research has shown that the single most important factor in building resilience is having emotional support. having people in your network that can give you that emotional and moral support. When we talk about support, a lot of times people talk about money, but that's the least kind of support you can ever, or you should even ever look for. Because if I give you money right now, the money is going to finish. But if you don't have emotional support, if you don't have people in your life that are supporting you, checking up on you, shoulders that you can lean on when things are difficult, you would most likely not do well in adversity. So we want to build those kind of connections. We want to also, self-care is very important, right? And the self-care is built on the concept of, I cannot come and kill myself, right, at the end of the day, because you cannot come and kill yourself. So you need to look for a way to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You need to pay attention to yourself. Yes, you need to, exercise, look for your hobby, enjoy yourself. In the midst of the challenges, right, enjoy yourself. And always look for that silver lining. What is that thing? Two things in that area is, one, what is that thing we can learn from this situation? What is that thing we can learn from this? And secondly is, what are those things that we can do, right, for ourselves in order to be able to go through this effectively? Because there's always something you can do for yourself, right? For one person, it can be to learn a new skill. For another person, it can be to get an extra income, and things like that. So those are some of the ways you can begin to build resilience, right, in spite of the challenges.
Okay.
Yes.
Just the way that Nigerians have built resilience.
Yes, right? we are known as a people of resilience, actually. And it is actually because, like I said earlier, tough times actually create strong men, and that is why we have been able to build resilience effectively. And that's why people say children of rich people are very low in resilience, because for a lot of them, they're exposed to wealth, and then they are not really exposed to the challenges of life because of the succor that they find in their parents' wealth. And that's why, if you're a rich parent listening to me, you want to deliberately, right, introduce some form of adversity, simulated adversity that your children can go through in order to build that resilience. Because tough times will create strong men, and strong men will create good times.
So, even in the good times, strong men should be teaching the benefactors,
exactly,
or beneficiaries of those good times,
exactly,
about hard times, which are likely to come anyway.
Yes.
But I'm not going to go away easy and let you go easy on this adversity quotient. Please tell us a little more about it.
Yes, so adversity quotient, like I said, is the
what are the elements?
The ability to be able to survive and thrive in adversity. Because for some people, they survive, but then they don't thrive in adversity. Yes, they just survive it, right, but they don't thrive.
And they live on the borderline.
They live on the borderline. But there are people who survive adversity, and then who go ahead to come out with something meaningful out of that adversity, so that at the end of the day, it looks like their life would have turned out as good as it did if they didn't go through that adversity, because of what they are able to bring out of it. It's just like a gold going through refinery, and then it's made a gold because the destination of the gold is the palace, it's not the slum, even though it is found in the slum, right? But it is that adversity that now refines that gold, that makes it valuable for the palace. And that's what building adversity quotient is. To be able to say that I can build my ability to cope with difficult situations, so that I even thrive and enjoy the challenges of life, right, as they come. And I'm not dismayed by challenges, and I'm not put down in spite of what it is I'm going through. Everybody who has succeeded, who has done well in life, has a very high adversity quotient.
Okay. How do you build? Because you said earlier, it's not in our genes. It's not in our DNA.
Yeah.
We're not born with resilience.
Yeah.
But what if you are born by people who are resilient? It doesn't make any difference. So how do you build? I'm asking this, and I don't know why I'm just asking this for someone who is watching and saying, look, I'm done. I can't take this anymore. And they've been, in fact, there are people who have been meandering around this circle of hardship, decade after decade after decade, and they would survive one, and then they get into another, survive one, and then they get into another. How do you build adversity quotient? Is there a an adversity quotient test?
Yeah, of course, there are tests. The same way that we have emotional intelligence tests. Yeah, there's an adversity quotient test or assessment that you can take to check, the level of your adversity quotient, how much you can thrive.
So they can just Google now.
Yeah,
adversity quotient test
assessment. Yeah,
and then you find it. So how do they build?
Yes, so it is in some of the things I've already mentioned earlier. That's how you build adversity quotient.
You have to be in it.
You have to not be in it, but
build.
You have to build by number one, having those sustainable and emotional support around you, right? Because they help you to build those things, right? And also you need to pay attention to yourself. You need to give yourself perspective in situations to say, okay, in this situation right now, what can I learn from it? Because a lot of the times people focus on the wrong things, and that's why they're not able to deal with those things. They focus on the wrong things. They are looking at, okay, why is this happening to me? Instead of what can I do to come out of this, right? And it's all about problem solving, because that's one of the things people need to learn, problem solving skills. A lot of people don't know how to effectively solve problems, right? Because when you are faced with a problem, you want to ask yourself, is there anything I can do about this problem? Because there are problems you cannot do anything about. What you need to do is to change how you are thinking about the problem. But then there are problems you can do something about. So you want to ask yourself, what can I do about this? For instance, there's a technique in problem solving called the 5 whys. Asking yourself why 5 times. What that does is that it drives you down to the root cause of the problem, because there's something we call root cause analysis in strategy, that helps you to know where the problem really is. Because when you know what the problem really is, that's when you can actually seek for a solution. Because a lot of the times the problem is not the problem, right? The problem is not always the problem. So if we ask ourselves, when somebody can come and say, I don't have a job, and I say, what's your problem? You say, I don't have a job. That's surface level. If I now drill down and ask him, why don't you have a job? We might now discover the reason he doesn't have a job is because nobody has called him for an interview. First level. Second level, okay, why has nobody called him for an interview? We can now discover that he doesn't have a good CV. Why doesn't he have a good CV? Third level, we can now discover that he doesn't have a good CV because he has not learned how to write one, or hasn't engaged people who know how to write one. Fourth level, we can now ask, okay, why don't you have a good, why is it that you have not engaged or you don't know how to write this? Oh, because I haven't deliberately learned about it. So fifth level, why haven't you deliberately learned about it? Because, you can now discover that maybe he's lazy. Yes, and that's why he hasn't taken that extra step. So on that level, we have now discovered that the real problem why he doesn't have a job is not because there are no jobs, it is because he's lazy. So we will now begin to solve the problem of laziness for him instead of looking for jobs for him. Because if we just go ahead to solve that problem on the surface level by looking for jobs for him, we will be creating more problems for him, because he will not be able to sustain any job, right? And it can even dent our reputation. But if we now deal with the real problem, which is laziness, then he will get a job even by himself. So that's a skill, for instance, in problem solving that people need to learn. And all of these are part of how you deal with adversity.
So you're just getting, what's it called, a free consultancy right now. But there is also something that you said earlier, that one of the ways to build adversity is to choose your cycle. What if you are unable to choose your cycle?
Why not?
You live in an environment where all you see is all you get.
and that's why there are 2 types.
Because I actually, to reinforce that, I actually have someone. I know someone who was growing up in an area in Lagos. Let me not mention any area before I'm labeled as bad mouthing. Lived in this environment and lived among people that cooked. And that was all. You in the house where you are, there are local cooks. And outside,
local?
No, it's a local canteen of sorts. Okay. But outside is just boys of the area doing what boys of the area and girls of the area do, and then the entire circumference is just like that. So unless that person leaves that environment, how do you choose your cycle?
I will use myself as a case study. I grew up in Ajegunle.
Which one? Is it the
main Ajegunle?
The Ajegunle now is now CMS.
The men Ajegunle, you know, yes, it has gotten better, but I grew up in Ajegunle that is referred to many as a slum. You know, where it looks like, okay, all you see is all you get, like you said. But I tell people that there are two kinds of environment. There's a physical environment, but there's also a psychological environment. You can create your environment if you want to. Yes, because environment goes beyond geographical location. It has a lot more to do with the circumference of your mind and the boundaries of your thinking. So you can create your own environment. For instance, right from there in Ajegunle, I started exposing myself to the world. I started to go out of Ajegunle. I started to go to places. I started to see people. I started to know how things were done. Right? That gave me a level of exposure. That exposed my mind. I began to read books. Right? I began to watch videos that changed how I viewed the world. So even while I still lived in Ajegunle, I was not off Ajegunle. Because I actually now determined my environment. And you know what? When you change your psychological environment, very soon you will change your physical environment, because your psychological environment will move you out of your physical environment. Like somebody rightly said, you cannot travel within and stand still without. It's impossible. So actually, environment can be created. You can create your environment, your own environment, even though the physical or geographical location where you stay right now is not what is befitting or what you want. You can actually begin to. Who says right now social media, you know, and technology has made the world a global market, right? So there's globalization where from where you are right now, you can have friends in Dubai, you can have friends in the US, you can have friends everywhere. So who says that you must be limited by where you're staying right now or where you live? So
what caused you to remove your mind from your locale? Because many are not able to do that. They are a product of where they grew up.
Yeah.
And they are not able to change their worldview because of where they were.
So thankfully for me, right, I grew up in a religious family, and I was also now opportune to meet certain kinds of people, even in Ajegunle, right? So for instance, I met a mentor of mine, who you might be familiar with, Mr. Praise for in Ajegunle. I was a teenager. You know, I was invited somewhere. Oh, they were having a program. I went there. You know, Mr. Praise was speaking there. And I was like, I like this. And I started attending that meeting every other week. And then that began to change the way I saw things. I began to attend seminars, go for, courses and things like that. And even though we were living in a one-room and we're 8 living in that one room, I just knew that I was more than where I was at that particular time. So that bettered something in the inside of me and said, you know what, I want to be more than this. I want to create a future for myself that is not what I'm seeing right now. And that was where it started from.
Well,
interesting.
For a single guy, yes. Not for a married man who already has kids.
No, but this all began when he was young.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying, but even now, I mean, he's been able to traverse, but there are those who are not able to traverse. They are married in that situation. They have children in that situation. I know someone who, for instance, it was as a result of his wife's death that he died. Because he just couldn't get out of it. Some people are just so sunk in that situation that getting them out of it is a problem. But for those who are alive and who can still make a difference, what will be your counsel now?
Yes, and sometimes you can't help yourself, and that's the truth. When you come to that point where you can help yourself, seek help. It is very important to know your threshold, to know the limits of what you can do, because everybody has that limit. Everybody has that elastic limit that okay, I can't go beyond this point. That's when you seek help from somebody. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong, because vulnerability is strength, it's not weakness. It takes courage to be vulnerable. So you need to seek help beyond what it is you can do when you have come to that point where I've tried everything I know, but there are people who, quote unquote, know more than you do. There are people who are trained to help you deal with those things. Reach out to those people, let them practically now help you deal with whatever it is that you are going through.
Unfortunately, sometimes some of these people to whom you are speaking right now, they have other people that are looking up to them and they are wondering, I can't even help myself. How can I help these folks?
Yeah. And of course, the truth is that no matter where you are in life, there will always be people you are better than, and there will be people who are better than you. There are always people who can help you and people you can help. So life is about giving and receiving. The joy of living is a joy of giving, and the joy of giving is a joy of living, right? And that's why, for the phases of the cow, for instance, is the manure needed for the plant to grow. So what that person who has everything that he says, oh yeah, that person who has needs himself, there's somebody you can still help, even with your faces in that sense, even with what you consider to be a trying time for you, can be a testimony for somebody else, right? So and this story comes to mind. Two people were praying on the altar. They went to church to pray, and then this man was praying about a $1 billion project, was praying to God to give him this project, and there was this other guy who was also praying beside him, and all he was praying about was a 10,000 naira to be able to feed for that weekend. And the guy was shouting seriously, oh wow, God help me. And this other man was there praying, and was like, young man,
fingers not equal.
What is it that you need? Why are you shouting? He said, I just need 10,000 naira. Is that what you need? And give him so I can have space and time to pray for my
billions.
Exactly. So what was big for this guy was small for this guy. But it didn't mean that this guy doesn't also have his own problems. So it means that wherever you are, there's always somebody you can help.
Well, that's cheering. That is definitely cheering. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just hoping that by this, someone has been helped. And to see life differently and be able to maintain Steeze
a maximum mental composure.
Maximum mental composure.
Every time miracle comes, I'm sure there's somebody he lifts out of despair.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No worry, we'll find out how much.
Your name is very apt.
Yes, thank you.
We'll find out how much the consultation costs.
What's your Steeze again?
Stability and ease.
Stability and
or whatever
ease.
else they call it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be added to the dictionary very soon.
Okay. If it's not there already.
And so that is how we end Sunrise for today. Keep your eyes on Port Harcourt, on River State, through the rest of the day and through maybe we'll get the results tomorrow. You never know. Of course, Channels Television will bring you all the details as they happen. But that's Sunrise for today. That's the much that we can do for you today. We'll bring you a fresh edition next week. I'm Alera Edu, wishing you a very happy week indeed. See you next week.
Well, by the time you're seeing this again, it's probably the results are all out and everything. But hey, all the same, keep Nigeria in your prayers because we're not going anywhere. I'm Aya Makinde. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
And God bless Nigeria.